Hello, welcome to the queue. It's Operation A View to a Kill, and this would have been, well, it's my preliminary buy. Things probably would have changed between now and when my turn actually would have been, which would have been turn 21. However, peace has come to global war. The common turn at 7, the Axis at 7, the Allies at 7. The look on the board of the victories points here. Let's see, they lost one air, but because we bombed that, they lost that one. Common turn would have gotten 8 on the next turn. The Axis have really no avenue to get another point, so they would have dropped or stayed at 7. The Allies most likely take Guam. I don't have a marker there. So that would have given them 8. Guam and Atu Kiska. So the tie at the end of turn 21 would have been 8 for the common turn, 8 for the Allies, unless we decided to risk the Nanking battle now. A victory there by this turn would have been the KMT attacking and then the U.S. following up. And the U.S., had a sizable air force that they could dump in there, but not many ground units. So the KMT would have had to whittle Nanking down to a handful of units. And I actually have it set up just for grins, the battle as it would have been. I've got the addition of militia upgrade to infantry and militias that Japan, that's all they could have gotten to reinforce Nanking this turn. And the only reinforcements for the KMT would have been an additional fighter that would have been lend-leased by, or was going to be lend-leased by Anzac. So there's a chance that at the end of 21, if we decided to pull that trigger, the Allies could have been at 9. That would have been a victory. So I think some other people are going to do kind of a recap video. But in discussions today, it's pretty clear that the Axis are done. The common turn has the ability to regain that 8th victory point, but no more. They're kind of capped at that. So the Allies really have the sphere of influence, taking Nanking away, and we're going to get close to working towards a big blue fleet. Now it's several turns away of building. If we would remain Thai for some other reason, like Nanking is a complete disaster, and we have to reload for that. By the time we would reload, Big Blue Fleet would be on the board, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit. But I do want to go through the tech. I've got out here on the edge the texts that were what I thought were critical in this game and what I was trying to do. Advanced artillery, radar, improved construction, amphibious doctrine, long-range aircraft, and of course large ship construction. Now as the U.S., you still have these that you need for that victory point, but they weren't really in my strategy as far as what I wanted to accomplish. Now, the downside is I got radar last turn. I got large ship construction 3 turns ago. The downside there is Japan got it early, and they made a lot of large battleships. So many so that I actually quit building. And I probably should have not sneaked, but just kind of maintained, one each turn. But I didn't, just because of the amount. Well, I couldn't for the longest time because I couldn't roll that dang tech. And then, rockets, was the last tech that I got last turn for that victory point. But obviously rockets has no part of my strategy. Really for any nation. There's just nothing you can do with it really. That's I mean, it's nice for a couple attacks, but it's not something you build a strategy about. So, um, and I didn't get to really use the advanced artillery just because large ship construction delays kept me out of range of doing anything because Japan's Navy was huge. Uh, the other thing was the Italian Navy was huge, so we couldn't get those transports on the Europe side to do really much of anything. Um, it was nice getting heavy armor. Jets are always nice. You need it for the tech, um, but not necessarily as critical as these over here. And I'll go back to it. Large ship construction really put me behind the eight ball, along with radar. Radar basically because when you send in your bombers to do strategic bombing and you have fighters or jets with them, it boosts their intercept value up one. Um, so radar is always good for attack or defense, in my mind. Anyway, that's the tech. The German and Russian and Japanese tech uh, may not be 100% accurate because I was on vacation last week, but as you can see, they all did quite well um, on there. The overall consensus, I think, of what we were going to do here on turn 21 as the Allies was Britain was going to make a run at Guam. Um, they had two airborne, two transports. One of these transports probably come over, the fighters come over, and then one of these transports would run and shuck some guys up to Hunan while we rail some as well. Um, there was really no thought that Britain would attack Nanking as an opening attack this turn. That was turn 22. Um, so Britain would take back Guam, and then the U.S. having multiple transports, even an airborne if needed, uh, to take back Atu-Kiska. Um, the other thing that we were going to do was eliminate this fleet here wherever it goes. Um, we don't know if this fleet was going to go back in port to try and repair, or were they going to join up, maybe, like Wake or one of these sea zones that they can reach to make one fleet. Either way, we had enough ships all around the Med and aircraft to eliminate that. Eliminating this gets Japan to 11 capital ship points, and the U.S. is at 10. So that's why the push for Big Blue Fleet would start now. As Japan is reduced in income, there's not a lot of opportunity for them to catch up to the U.S. on those large ships. So that's why I suggested the Big Blue Fleet, had this game gone on for several more turns due to, ties, we would be in position to get that. So in the Pacific, that's kind of where we end up. Realistically, the Big Blue Fleet is not something we would have achieved without multiple turns. Nanking, this turn is iffy. Next turn probably is a shoe-in, I would think, just because we would have some more options to throw into that, depending on what went on in the rest of the Med. In the Mediterranean here, of course, there was the nasty Italian fleet that proved very resilient. I had retreated back here. This turn, the damage on the battleships would be replaced. I had two heavy cruisers there, a jet there. We were going to reload, building a medium bomber up in England. So all that would funnel down here on turn 22 for a rematch. And at that point, the British would have engaged either before or after that to finally get rid of that. And then, of course, our attention goes to Malta or Rome, one of the two, whichever was least defended. We did have aspirations here of Istanbul. set up nicely here with the British and French, the planes, the infantry, armor, transports. However, because of the lull in the Eastern Front, Russia reaches Romania, Warsaw, and the battle ends. The Germans actually were able to pull their massive mobile infantry artillery force from Russia all the way through back to the home country almost without even getting attacked. So there was no attacks going on. That allowed Germany to massively fortify the Atlantic Wall, which they really needed, turn 17, 18 when we were rolling dice, because they could have won at that point had the dice ended, the variable ending been successful. The Axis would have won. At this point now, though, for the last two turns, um, doesn't matter. The Atlantic Wall doesn't really matter. Um, so we did have some action up here, and up there in Finland, Norway, Sweden. Some of that is when Malta was super fortified. We kind of made a determination that in order to get back in this game and stay in this game, we need that triumph of capitalism, which in most games, Russia ends. They get so many territories that the U.S. and Britain can't keep up. So we had to attack a lot of neutral countries. Well, I guess not a lot. I mean, we attacked Sweden and Portugal and Iran. Then we had to start taking stuff away from the French, instead of giving it back to the Free France. So a lot of thought and action was given to keeping triumph of capitalism going, to try and make up for the Malta that we can't get back, for that British, what is it, Empire of the Sun Never Sets. And initially, too, we did have some thoughts of taking Helsinki back. That would have helped us get closer to Russia, but we couldn't take it back too soon because then the Axis wins. So we kind of had to sit there for a couple turns, and then at this point we just kind of gave up. I think the idea now is if Russia was to start picking off some of these German territories to keep triumph of capitalism, we would start heading into Russia just to get points, and forget about Helsinki as a target. See what else do we have going here. Initially, we did set up for the taking back of Madrid because we honestly thought that the nationalists were going to win the Civil War and give that victory point to Germany, or the Axis, I guess, and that would have been a winning point for the Axis right there. They took quite a beating on that attack, and they could lend-lease for a couple more turns and try it again. So that's really the only Axis point that they can get. But in the short term, there's no way. That just doesn't happen. So we stacked a bunch of forces here and within range to hit various territories and take Spain out of the picture. And of course, the idea is when we took Portugal, and I built one factory here, the one tech that I didn't mention when I was talking about tech, that really hampered the U.S. is this improved factories. I rolled from that from almost the beginning, and we're still only at stage 2, and those 2 stages were in the last 3 turns. I think 3 turns ago I got that one, and then this turn I got this one. That really hurt the U.S. as far as building, because I had a factory. I was going to put a second factory. I had 2 shipyards. So with improved factories, we were going to pump out 4 land units, 4 ships. This battle is easy. well, easier maybe. Um, but when you don't get improved factories, and you're kind of counting on it, it's pretty rough. Um, because building over here, driving or sailing, flying, it just takes up a lot of time. And if you can just pump it out here on the front lines, um, we were able to, for most of the game, the U.S. build 1 unit a turn in England, which at first was nice for defense, but there was really no threat on London. So then from there, we were able to go up north and take care of some business in Scandinavia, maintain here in Portugal, waiting for this battle to take place. Um, we couldn't get through this. There was no way. Um, the British fleet that was left here was pretty weak as far as the type of ships. The majority of the British ships met their fate right here off Malaya there. Came into, and Japan just clocked them. Um, I don't know if Japan, they took a lot of damage on the ships. They had heavy battleships at that time. They took a lot of damage. They didn't lose a lot of ships. So they had to sail back north to repair, which bought us some time. So we had a bomber within range to bomb this dockyard, which was huge. So instead of the Japanese fleet sitting here and repairing, they had to go back north, which was a turn and another turn to repair. So that bought us some time to get into position to start nibbling away at some of the islands and points, and that getting that take territory back from Japan, because they were making massive amounts of money. Germany at one point was making pretty good money too. Um, However, as it ends, U.S. was obviously the number one breadwinner, but Russia was right there. Well, they were about 18 down from that, the U.S. total. But then the big winner was, I think, Britain. I've got them marked at 51 right now. So anytime Britain is making $50+ a turn, that gives you the ability to do all this kind of stuff and over here. And the U.S. always makes money, but I kind of split it between the two sides. But most of it was on the Pacific, just because of the way the game played out. Japan having the large battleships, large ship construction tech so early. There was a need for a lot of ships in the Pacific. So that's where we eventually got to, but it took a long time to get there. Some good back and forth battles. I would say that this game was about as even as you can get. I mean, the end of turn 20, each side had 7 victory points each. So I've usually, and I think I said this in my last turn, usually there's always one of the three factions that's just taken a beating, and that just wasn't the case this turn. Everyone took their beatings in certain areas at certain points of the game, and everyone gave out their beatings at certain points of the game. So I'd say that it was, a good close game. Dice roll ending at, turn 17, 18. I think the Axis win. 19, Russia could have won maybe. I mean, I think if he builds, well, he would have to build. There was 4 bombers, I think, within range. So he would have had to build 4 more shipyards. And I think that would have been enough to give the Russians the victory. But at the time, I think the tie was what was being focused on, because we were all so knotted up. And this was obviously not falling, with that stack of advanced mechs in there, because they weren't needed up here. So that's it. That that's my side of the view of what I was trying to do, what kind of happened. A lot of things you start off with, your plan goes out the window, whether it's because of tech or the other side's tech or just basic maneuvers, you know, like the Atlantic Wall being stacked like that. I mean, Paris was never even a thought as far as victory points. We're just not even going to attempt that. That's just too silly. But with that being so fortified, it kind of allowed Russia to get stronger than, you know, maybe they could have had some of that been the other direction. But either way, you can't argue anybody's play in this game because, like I said, at the end of turn 20, 7, 7, and 7 on the victory points. That's pretty impressive, I think. So if you want to hang around, I'm going to roll out this Nanking battle. And if the Chinese can somehow win it or whittle it down to a handful of units, then it looks like the Allies would have won on turn 21. Allied units that, or U.S. units that could follow up would be this artillery, infantry, and then we could grab this marine and that mountain off of Formosa and amphibiously assault, along with 2 bombers. Where's that? A tactical, 2 fighters, 2 jets. So that's quite a follow-up if Nanking is not taken but still reduced, you know, down to, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 or even a little more. But we'll roll it out and we'll see. If you're interested in hanging out and seeing that, let's get to it. So let me I'm going to just kind of slide that up so I can set the camera down, move some stuff out of the way, get our little tray in view here. All right, so we're going to have first strikes, 6 artillery for China, 1 Japan, and then their fortification. So let's do the 6 artillery for, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, here's China, KMT artillery, and that's none. All right, good. All right, so we'll have Japan's the 2 fort and their regular artillery. And they get 1. So we will lose 1 of our militia here. And instead of counting those chips every time, I'm just going to use a dice because there's 11 there to start. All right, so let's roll. Now we've got 10 dice at 1. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, here's the militia. 10 at 1. And we do get 1 hit. So I'll put that dice down there. Now we're looking at 2 infantry at 2, and then 6 infantry boosted to 3. So I'll set this down. And let's see. 2 dice at 2. Well, there's 1 hit. All right, now we have 6 at 3. All right, here's the boosted infantry. And, well, we're not doing too good. We've only got 3 hits so far. Here is the painful one for Japan. We have 3 anti-aircraft guns, so we're going to have 9 at 3. All right, so now we need 2 more dice. All right, so this is the anti-aircraft guns. And, oh, dang, look at that. There's 3. So that means Japan has to lose 3 planes, so they're obviously going to lose the bomber, the tactical, and a fighter. So that worked out nicely. That's going to help us in our quest for victory. All right, so what's left for the KMT? 2 armor, 2 tacticals, and 4 fighters. So let's do the 2 armor. There's 1 more hit, and the 2 tacticals. And there's, we'll say that's 1 hit. So that's a 9. So now we got 4 fighters, which would, 3 of them, if they get 4 hits, would have to be air superiority. That's 6, 1, 2. So Japan would lose 2 more fighters. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're going to lose 2 militia, 1 artillery, and first we'll just take the marine and the mountain off because they defend the same as infantry. All right. So remaining is the 13 infantry. The fort is no more value. I'll leave it there though, and a fighter. So let's get their defensive rolls. The militia defends at 2. With the fort, they're at 4. So we got 2 at 4. Nothing. All right, the artillery fired. So now we've got 13, 15. So let me do this in 5s. So 15 at 6 for all the infantry style units. There's 3. I'll just put them over there. Here's the second set of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That hurts. Third set of 5. I think that one was that one that rolled over there. So 1, 2. So it's 2 more. All right. Let's do the bomber at 4, tactical at 5. So the bomber's 4, tactical's 5. So that's another hit. We've got 4 fighters that would be air superiority if they hit. 1, 2. So we're going to lose 2 planes. And that's obviously going to be 2 fighters. All right, so let's take that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's our stack of militia. All right, so going into round 2, we definitely have the advantage because this goes away, the fort bonus goes away. So it is 13 infantry and 1 fighter. So I think the right call would have been at the end of this turn 21 for the KMT and USA to give it the 1-2 punch. So I'm going to have 2 infantry at 2. Nope. I've got 12 at 3, 6 artillery and 6 infantry. So there's 6 and 6 more. All right, so here's 12 at 3. Well, that ain't good at all. That is terrible. 1 hit. I spoke too soon. I thought we were going to roll to victory. Maybe we're not. All right, so 2... Oh, it doesn't matter. There's no air superiority around 2. So 2 fighters, 2 medium armor. That is, what is that? That's a 9. So 3 hits. And then we got 2 tacticals. And we got a target select and another hit. So the target select, oh, it doesn't matter. They're all infantry. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll take 2 greens off. All right. So the return fire for Japan. Oop, dropping dice. So we'll do 6 and 7. So here's 6 infantry. And these are down to 4 now. There's 2 hits. I'll put them over there again. And then we've got 7 more in the second batch. So there's 1, 2, 3. All right, and we got 1 fighter. That's 6. All right, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to lose 6. So we'll lose 2, and 4. All right. So that leaves 7 infantry and a fighter left for Japan. So round 3 is going to be... Oh, you know what? I could lose these AA and bring 3 guys back. I should have done that probably on the first round. Oh, well. All right, so 4, 5. So we'll have 11 at 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, let's get these out of here. All right, so these are at 3. So there's 1, 2. All right, that's a good roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that pretty much does it. We'll roll the 4 at 6. Oh my, there's 4 more. That's 9, 2 tacticals, 10. They only have 7, 8 left, so even if all 8 got hits, we would still have enough to take it. So there you have it. The Chinese, the KMT, however you want to say it at this point, since they're a major power, would have taken Nanking, and Britain and U.S. taking the 2 islands gives us the 9 points to go ahead for the official victory, if you want to look at it that way. But either way, the surrender by the Axis and Comintern has been offered and accepted. So thanks for watching View to a Kill. We had a couple of vacations in this game that kind of slowed things down a little bit, but you know, life is life, and this is just a game. It's been fun. Thanks for watching. Excellent group of guys playing in this game. Every one of them has unique characteristics to their play style. The one I fear the most, and I'll say it, is Panzer J. He always, whether he's attacking me or defending, cleans my clock. I don't know how he can control my defensive dice for him in my turn, but he does. Congrats. Also, new game, new operation, probably starting up later this week as we switch sides and mix things up. Look for that to start soon.